It's your River Valley Queens!
Today we're going to be talking about Rivergreen, which is an upcoming launch in the River Valley area. This will be a 36-story development, super interesting. None of the layouts will be bigger than 1,000 square feet. But before we go into that, let's share with you what we'll be talking about today.
In today's agenda, firstly, we'll rehash the River Valley collection. In case you're new to our video, this is where we'll talk about what's coming up in the River Valley area. Next, we'll be asking, is price or size important? As you see, all the sizes are below 1,000 square feet. So is it going to be a game changer in the area? And importantly, does size affect your profits? Next, we'll go into the layout, and as a bonus segment, we actually have a Promenade versus Rivergreen segment as well for those who are confused.
So if you're new to this channel, remember to like and subscribe so that YouTube will help us to push this out to buyers like you who may find this useful. And if you missed our previous videos, this is one of the things that we talked about. In the CCR region, there are quite a number of units and developments which are coming out. We have Upper House, we have 5 plots of lands here in the River Valley region, as well as 1 Leonie Residences, Robertson Opus. We've done a video analysis on that, as well as Promenade Peak, which you can find in our YouTube channel as well.
So as a start, we are today talking about Rivergreen. It's by wingtai, 524 units. And just to give you an introduction in this area, if you are new, we also have Promenade Peak by All Green, 596 units. Next, we have Grand Zion, which will be launching end of this year. That one will be basically a mixed residences with service apartments. And then we have RV Parcel B by Goco Land that have bidded for it, and also Parcel C.
Rivergreen is really interesting because not a single unit will be above 1,000 square feet. In fact, the largest unit type is going to be only 980 square feet and it's going to have 4 bedrooms. And that brings us to a very important question that many buyers are asking us.
So Jubes, is quantum more important or is size more important?
Before we answer that question, let's take a look at some of the developments within the River Valley area so that you can come to a conclusion yourself.
Okay, so in the River Valley area, it's well known that there are a lot of freehold projects. If you know this area well, you have Avinia, which is the newer one. You have the older ones like Tribeca, the Waterfront, Martin Place Residences, as well as Cosmopolitan. These condos are very popular amongst expats who are new to Singapore, who want to live by the river and close to the city. And then you have smaller projects like RV Residences, and then a slightly older one like Valley Park. So in fact, in River Valley, it's surrounded by a lot of large, older freehold condo projects and a lot of small boutique developments. So for Rivergreen, what is its positioning? Essentially, all the units are going to be very efficient in terms of layout as well as sizes, and we'll get to check them out later. But just wondering, which one is more important than quantum or size?
So we first have to look at the prices of what these freehold developments are calling it, and that's how we determine the price. And then we'll see how much the developer is likely going to be launching Rivergreen at. And Denise, we already received the first-hand information, how much all the starting prices for most of the bedroom types, right?
Yep, and we will share with you shortly as a comparison vis-a-vis other projects in this area.
So that answers the question on quantum. But in order for us to arrive at the quantum, it is always based on a multiplier. It will always be size times the per square foot rate. So for Rivergreen, because the sizes are very efficient, we wouldn't call them small, because for Rivergreen, it's going to be the harmonized scheme where your AC latch is not included in the calculations and the room sizes are very efficient. Let's take a look at how some of the new developments within the River Valley area are currently transacting at.
So these are the existing older developments, maybe 10 to 15 years old. Let's take a look at the transacted prices of the newer condos in the River Valley area. Firstly, we have Irwell Hill Residences. Next, we have Avinia, which is freehold. So these two just TOP basically. You have Martin Modern as well as Riviera, which have been around for maybe the last 3 to 4 years. So Irwell Hill is the one that's 99 year that recently just TOP. These are the average pricings that you can see. So as you can see, River Valley has a certain price matrix already in all the units itself. Let's see how Rivergreen, based on the starting prices, will weigh about compared to all these projects.
So we just received first-hand information from the developer that these will be the official guide prices for Rivergreen. For a 1-bedroom unit, you're looking at about $1.2 million.
Wow.
And you see for Irwell Hill, for 1 bedroom, it's 1.519. For the Avinia, it's 1.66. And for Martin Modern, there's no 1-bedroom unit. And for Riviera, the average transacted prices for 1 bedroom is already at 1.65. So like what we said just now, from a quantum perspective, it's going to be very, very attractive because you are looking at about 200 to 300 to even 400 price gap between what you will be entering at versus all the other one bedrooms in the market.
So even in the 2 to 3 bedroom types, as you can see, if you're entering about 1.5, 1.6, you're entering at a huge discount as compared to what you have, for example, at Irwell Hill, which starts from about 1.9, or even Martin Modern, where you're getting from about 2.1. So actually with these savings, do you feel that it's safe for buyers to actually enter into Rivergreen these days?
So you can see that there's going to be quite a gap in the entry prices of the different bedroom types for Rivergreen as compared to the existing newer developments in River Valley. And it has to be a catch, right? Of course, it's going to be the size. But can you still make a profit from a smaller size unit? Let's take a look.
So let's take a look at Irwell Hill residences that's actually not harmonized. As you can see, the sizes, right, for a 1+ study is about 495 square feet. 2-bed, 1 bath will be 624, and then the 2-bed, 2 bath will be about 667, and 3-bedroom about 861. So as you can see, right, all the sizes are very similar to what we have at Rivergreen today. And this is a non-harmonized project, which means that whatever sizing you have, for example, 3-bedder 861 square feet, you've got to deduct 5 to 7 square feet to arrive at what you're going to have at Rivergreen. And as you can see, the highest profit that Irwell has made was actually around 436k. All the 2-bedders easily made around 200 to 300k thereabouts, which is actually pretty attractive, and in terms of a 3 to 4% growth every year. But Jubes, how does this compare to a project that is slightly bigger? As you know, these two projects are launching. Okay, so Rivergreen is a bit similar to Irwell Hill, whereas the sizes at Promenade Peak will be similar to that of Martin Modern.
So let's take a look at the profitability of sellers that have sold in the resale market at Martin Modern. So you can see for the highest profit made by any owner, it was for a 3-bedroom unit, 1399 square feet at level 17, 1.08 million. But if you can see here, on average, the sellers all did make quite a good profit when they sold their units in the resale market for the 3-bedroom unit. What does it tell you?
It tells you that in River Valley, right, big sizes are also in demand.
Yes, and all these are all above 1,000 square feet. Rivergreen doesn't have anything that's above 1,000 square feet. So is that going to be a problem? We'll see.
Okay, I also noticed that the holding period was slightly longer, between 6 to 7 years. This means that people that are living in River Valley also like staying there. They're not just flipping for the fun of it. A lot of them actually want to stay there for a couple of years before moving on when they take profit. So I feel that the 4-year seller stamp duty that has been implemented wouldn't really affect buyers who buy in this area. Anyway, you're staying for a slightly longer term. And when we craft out a strategy for you guys as our clients, we actually craft out something that's mid to long term.
So we've seen the profitability of Martin Modern as well as Irwell Hill residents. So what does it tell us? It tells us that it's very, very important to have a buying strategy. For the smaller bedroom types, you can hold for a shorter period for around 3 to 4 years, but now you're going to be holding for about 4+ years. And you have an annualized returns of about 3 to 4%, which is pretty healthy.
Really healthy.
And if you're looking to get a bigger unit, such as the 3 bedrooms, you can see that the 3 bedrooms here, they are transacting and having a very good profit of around at least 400 to 500,000. And this is with a longer holding period. So for here, what we can see is that for a bigger unit, you tend to have a bigger profit. But of course, the drawback is that you will need to have a longer term holding period. But if you're going in purely for investment, you can consider to look for the smaller units as there's a higher ROI.
So that's why it's actually very important to have a buying strategy, because your exit also depends on it. And we'll then advise our clients the buying strategy for a bigger or smaller unit, and essentially when is the exit strategy based on the unit type itself.
So this is something that we do for all of our buyers to craft out a buying strategy for them, and we've already done it for Rivergreen and Promenade Peak, as well as the different developments that are coming up in the CCR. So scan the QR code to contact us so that we can start a conversation. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. In the River Valley area, there are a lot of freehold developments. So is it possible to buy a freehold development instead of buying a 99-year new launch for investment? So what we did was we have pulled out a list of freehold developments with more than 150 units within 500 meters to Great World MRT and Havelock MRT. And this is the list that we have here. We have the Avenir, which is the newest. Then we have your older developments like Valley Park. Then we have Rivergate, Tribeca, St. Thomas, and this is your list here. Let's see how they have transacted in the resale market.
So in the resale market, I pulled out data that we have actually shared in our previous video. So basically for the 2 bedrooms, as you can see, the range between Valley Park, Rivergate and Cosmopolitan goes between maybe around 2.6 all the way to 3 billion for a 2-bedder. Now for the 3-bedder, for Valley Park all the way to Cosmopolitan, same thing, it ranges from about 3.5 to about 4.2. So that's also quite a big range. And 4 bedrooms, as you can see, is in the range of about 4.6 to 5.5 million. So really, I think buyers who want to have a foothold in River Valley, this is the price quantum that you're going to consider, because essentially like what we shared with you based on a price point, you can easily get a 3-bedroom for the price of a 2-bedroom that's a freehold around here. So what is important to you, more bedrooms or is it the freehold tenure? Which is more important?
Without further ado, let's talk about Rivergreen. A total of 524 units spread across 36 stories. The first residential unit will start on level 2 and will go all the way up to level 36. There will be no penthouses in this development. All the unit types will have the same floor-to-ceiling heights. Ranges from 1-bedroom all the way to 4-bedroom units, and there will be a total of 206 parking lots, out of which there will also be 20 EV parking and EV ready lots, and there will be 3 wheelchair accessible lots.
So as for Rivergreen, it's about 36 floors high, slightly of course half of that of Promenade Peak, as you can see. So it's pretty similar to other condos in the area, like for example Trillium, which is 29 floors, Sentinel Suites, that's 36, as well as the one next door Cosmopolitan, that's 36 floors. So it's going to be pretty similar to the other condos in the area itself.
So is there going to be a good view if I were to get a high floor unit at Rivergreen?
I actually mapped out all the stacks against Google Maps, so I'll share with you in a bit how it actually looks like from different views and all that.
While you're still here, please help us to like and subscribe so that YouTube can help us to push out this to buyers like yourself.
So as we mentioned, the largest unit in this project is the 4-bedder, 980 square feet, and all the rest of the units, as you can see, will be a mix of between 1 to 4, and the starting prices, as you see, really attractive from about 1.2 onwards. So largely we see that there are about 100 plus, 1 plus study, as well as 1 bedroom. The rest will be a mix between 2 bedders, 2 plus study, 3 bedroom, as well as 4 bedroom.
More than half of the units at Rivergreen are going to be 2-bedroom units.
So quite a mix. I think they are going to attract mostly a mix of own stay as well as investors who want to buy into this project because of the area itself.
So this is the site plan for Rivergreen, and it's going to be 15 stacks sharing 6 lifts across every level from level 1 all the way till level 36. On level 1, it will be where all your main facilities are. The first residential units will start from level 2. So 15 units, 6 lifts. I don't think there will be much of a traffic jam issue when waiting for the lift in the morning and during peak hours.
As you can see, you have the swimming pool on the level 1 itself, and then a tennis court also on level 1. And what happens is that the MRT literally is just next door. It's so easy for you to hop on and off when you go to work and when you come home.
And there will be a sheltered linkway that brings you to the MRT, so you don't need to bring umbrella.
Moving on about the views, just now Jubes actually asked about views. I actually plotted out the site map on Google Earth itself. As we can see, there are some stacks, for example, that will look at maybe Trillium's tennis courts, and some of them mostly will look at Valley Park itself. So I'll say this project generally there's not much of a view. If you're buying for views, you might be quite disappointed because let's say these few stacks over here, yeah, you look at the pool, but you also look across to your neighbor at this side and maybe the tennis court and also Cosmopolitan, and this is actually the Trillium pool as well as tennis courts.
If what I'm hearing is correct, for Rivergreen, there's a chance that in terms of the buying strategy, it may not be to buy as high of a unit possible, but to go for units which are priced correctly. Am I right to say that?
That's right. So actually buying in the right unit type is actually very important because you don't really have much view. So that's why entering at the right strategic point is important. You buy very high floor, you also don't get much of a view. You're surrounded essentially by all other condos.
But if you want to buy something for view, then you know that you can consider Promenade Peak. So we're back to the same question again. Quantum versus size. And you know, Promenade Peak will be launching during the same period as Rivergreen, and everyone is going to be comparing between the two. If you're not comparing between the two, then you're not doing your homework. So let's see. For Promenade Peak, the smallest bedroom type will be a 1 plus study, and they do not have a 1-bedroom unit. The smallest size will start from 527, and 2-bedroom will range from 657 to 689. If we then compare it to the 1-bedroom here, 527, whereas for the 1 plus study, for the same unit type, we're looking at quite a big difference in the square footage. And then when you times that with PSF, the quantum was going to be very different. For the 2-bedroom, it ranges from 657 all the way to 797. And if you were to look at the 2-bedroom unit types here, it ranges from 527 to 657.
And as you can see in Promenade Peak, when you look at the 3-bedroom, it ranges from about 1,000 to 1,076 square feet, already larger than the 4-bedroom at Rivergreen. So essentially, whatever that you have over on the left side, when you match out to here, is always bigger than what you have at Rivergreen itself. Like if I can get a 1+ study at Promenade Peak, I can maybe get a 2-bed 1-bath at Rivergreen. So should I then top up? Which one should I swap out for? What is the right strategy?
So it's very important to have a buying strategy because like what Denise said, for a 1-bed plus study in Promenade Peak, you could get the same size in Rivergreen, but it's a 2-bed 1-bath. Then which one to buy? So we've done our homework already and we've done all these analysis and we've done a price mapping matrix. So it's very important to have a buying strategy and to do your homework before you even buy. On launch day itself, many buyers will be putting check in both Rivergreen and Promenade Peak, hoping to see which one has a better ballot queue number and which one comes out cheaper. But if you're going to be only deciding on booking day itself, it's going to be too late. And you could potentially make a 6-figure mistake in overpaying for one unit type. So if you're interested to see how we've done this price mapping matrix and our buying strategy, please scan the QR code to reach out to Denise or myself, and we'll be happy to share this for our buyers who are putting in a check. So likewise in Rivergreen, same with many of the new launches we've seen today, they also have different interior finishing. For the 1 and 2 bedroom, it has a cool scheme. And for the 3 and 4 bedroom, it has a warm scheme. So when you go into the unit, you'll be able to distinctly tell which unit type is which unit type. So we're going to go into the floor plan analysis now. These are all the different layout types which are available as well as their corresponding size. So you can see that for the 1-bedroom unit, it's 420 square feet. For the 1+ study, it's 452. For the 2-bed 1-bath, which is B1 and B2, they are both 527 square feet. And for the 2-bed 2-bath, they are both 603 square feet. For the 2+ study, it's 657 square feet. However, for the 3-bedroom, the developer has planned 3 different layout types within the 3-bedroom. And you have C1, which is 786 square feet, C2, 872 square feet, C3, 883 square feet. So within this tree, it's very, very important to be able to select the right unit that gives you the best chance of a very good and safe, healthy exit when you decide to exit in the future. And of course, lastly, we have our 4-bedroom, which is at 980 square feet.
So the best part about Rivergreen is that all the layouts have a tuck-in kitchen.
Even from the 1-bedroom onwards.
So in the 1-bedroom, these 2 layouts are the same, 420 square feet, it's just facing north or east. So as you enter, you have a pretty much tuck-in kitchen at the side, and then you have your living space, and then a very good size, decent master's bedroom. And likewise, same thing at the other layout. And they don't have a very huge balcony. So the developer didn't actually build such a big balcony this time round. Now, in the 1+ study, this is east-facing, 527 square feet. Same thing, once you enter, your kitchen is also at the side, and then you have a study on the left side of the unit itself that actually joins towards the master as well as your toilet. So I think this layout is also really, really efficient, whereby you have like an L shape, almost like island kitchen in the unit itself.
So for the 2-bed 1-bath, we also have a tucked-in kitchen. You walk in from the entrance, you have your kitchen here. And that's one of the feedbacks that we get from many of our buyers, is that a lot of the 2-bedroom units that we see today, it's a very open kitchen concept and there's no clear segregation of space, or you need to walk past the kitchen where you have the islands on both sides. But for this, it's a tucked-in kitchen. You walk in here, you have space for a 4-seater dining table, and it's a dumbbell layout. And you have a Jack and Jill for the toilet, because you have your master bedroom here, which is 10 square meters, and your common bedroom, which is 9 square meters, which is just slightly smaller. So both are quite a good size, not the biggest that we've seen in the market today, but very, very efficient. For step 3, you walk in here, you have your kitchen tucked in as well, and you have your master on this side, and it's also a dumbbell unit. And Master bedroom also 10 and 9 square meters for the common bedroom.
So in the 2-bedroom premium, same thing. Both are 603 square feet. And as you enter, the kitchen is actually tucked in at the side, and then comes your dining space. And then both rooms, I think this is something that a lot of buyers like this day, the dumbbell layout, where you actually save the walkway space, and this walkway space actually goes to a larger living area itself. So I really like that the kitchen is tucked at one side. Same thing for the other layout as well. Stack 11, when you enter, the kitchen is also tucked in on the left side. You have 2 very good sized bedrooms, and then you don't have any wastage in terms of walkway space and all. So really, really efficient for the 2-bedroom premium as well.
So we have only one stack of the 2-bed plus study, and this is at 657 square feet. You come in from the entrance, you have your tucked-in kitchen as well. Your study is opposite the kitchen, which can be used as additional storage space. This also is a dumbbell layout where bedrooms are on alternate sides of the house. Master bedroom and common bedroom are the same sizes as with the 2-bed 1-bath and the 2-bed 2-bath. Master bedroom at 10 square meters and common bedroom at 9 square meters. And your overall living space that you have here is a very generous 28 square meters.
I noticed something, Droops. The study can actually be enclosed as well. There's actually a sliding door from what I see, but it doesn't have any windows, or you can enclose it as like a storeroom. So later we'll be doing a comparison between Promenade Peak's 2 plus study, so stay tuned.
So if you like our content so far, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.
For the 3-bedroom types, we have 3 different layouts to actually share with you. The first one, I'm super amazed by it, how efficient it is. 786 square feet, 3 bedrooms, and even a bomb shelter. Like, how did they even
I don't know how they managed to squeeze out the amount of space.
An enclosed kitchen as well. Okay, so as you enter, you have a bomb shelter at the left side, and then your enclosable kitchen over here.
And it comes with windows.
Yes, windows so you can ventilate. It's not like an enclosed kind of thing like what you saw in the 2-bedders. You can actually open the windows here if you really wanted to. And then as you step in, this is your dining as well as your living space. And as you enter the rooms, right, really, really good size master, 11 square meters. And then 8 square meters for the other bedroom. And finally, the 3rd bedroom, 7 square meters. It's honestly a really, really nice layout because you can even convert this if you want to a really nice 2 plus study. You can convert this to a study bedroom or your workroom as well if you really wanted to.
Yeah, admittedly, the 3rd bedroom is really small. It comes in at 7 square meters. But I guess that's a drawback that you get for being able to have a household shelter inside your house.
And what I really like is that, for example, if I really like to make the place a bit bigger, I could put a wall here, then I can hack this wall and then make this a really huge master as well. And then I just need to open the door over here, seal this up, and then open something over here for the 2nd bedroom. So I can have a really, really large master in this space, and I still have bomb shelter here as well.
Moving on to the second size in the 3-bedroom unit, the 872 square feet. So this layout type is really interesting because it's very familiar. I think I know where it's from. Later you may be able to enlighten us, Denise. So you walk in here, you have your sliding glass door that leads you to your kitchen. It comes with windows. You turn left, it will be your household shelter that's 4 square meters. Dining that's able to sit a 6-seater table. Again, your common area here will be about 28 square meters of space. You have balcony space of 5 square meters. And then your common bedroom, smallest will be 8 square meters. The other one will be 9 square meters. And in your master bedroom, it will be 12 square meters. So 12 square meters is really the standard size that we are seeing in many of the new developments today.
And this is also very similar to the HDBs that I've sold recently in Boon Tiong and all that. They're all about this kind of sizing. In fact, some of the HDBs, the 4-room flats in Red Hill and all that, they're all 883 square feet or that 936 square feet. So it's also very similar to this, and they are not harmonized as well, which means that they have the aircon latch counted in. But this layout is so efficient that when you step in, semi-enclosable kitchen, even have a bomb shelter and 3 proper bedrooms that you can put queen bed in all. So when you step in, you have an enclosed kitchen, then you have a bomb shelter for you to store things, and you have 3 very, very good sized bedrooms, which is basically you can put queen in each one of them. And finally, the last floor plan for the 3-bedroom is the 883 square feet unit. So this one basically will be similar to the one before, except the living space is just slightly a little bit bigger. We've checked all the dimensions.
1 square meter.
Yeah, all the dimensions, the room sizes are all the same. So same thing as you enter, enclosable kitchen with a window. You have your bomb shelter over here, you have your dining as well as living space, and 3 very good sized bedrooms. Even the master is still 12 square meter. I think this layout will be also very palatable as well as attractive to people who are upgrading from the same area where they have a 800 plus, 900 plus square feet, 3-bedroom or 4-room flat basically.
So this is is our 4-bedroom unit type, which stands at 980 square feet. You walk in here. It also comes with a household shelter. This is the same size as the household shelters that we see in the 3-bedroom type. You walk in here. You also have an enclosed kitchen, which comes with windows. There's a sliding glass door here. The only drawback is this comes with a wall. So when you're in the kitchen, the only light source that are coming in will be from the windows here. You walk in, then you have 30 square meters of shared living and dining space. Your balcony is slightly bigger than the 3-bedroom at 6 square meters. And then you have your bedrooms here, which your common bedrooms are 7, 8, and 9 square meters respectively. So for the 7 square meters bedroom, you could potentially hack away this wall here and then make your master bedroom to have a walk-in wardrobe. Another thing to note for the 980 square feet 4-bedroom layout, there are no wardrobes here. However, if you would like wardrobes, you can opt in and let the developer know that you want the wardrobes at no additional cost. But if you do not opt in, then when you receive the unit, you will have 2 empty rooms. I think this is because the developer knows that some of the buyers would actually turn one of this room into a walk-in wardrobe, or maybe this could be a study.
It's very common. A lot of projects at Normanton Park and all that, or Chuan Park, they actually give you the option if you want to have the cupboards. If you don't want, then it's fine. They won't build it. But if you want, then just click the opt-in when you actually purchase it.
At no additional cost. Free. So you're watching this video because you're deciding between whether should I go ahead to purchase a unit at Rivergreen or should I purchase a unit at Promenade Peak. And this video here is your ultimate cheat sheet to help you to make an informed decision so that you don't make the wrong choice that will cost you 6 figures of losses.
We've done so much research, crunched the numbers, and prepared all of this for you. There's going to be so much value added in, and we can't wait to share it with you. Did your agent do this for you?
The information that we have here are hours and hours and hours of late night data crunching, pulling up numbers from everywhere to make sure that all of our buyers are going in with their eyes wide open and they know their option, because we know that you cannot wait until launch day to then make a decision. Because if you're in the queue and if you're deciding between Promenade Peak or Rivergreen, when it's time to decide, you cannot make a last minute decision. That's going to be extremely stressful, and the risk of choosing the wrong unit is very, very high. So we have done our homework so that you don't have to. So if you like what you've seen so far, do help us and do us a favor. Hit the like and subscribe button for more of such videos.
But if you're too kanchong, just scan the QR code and contact us right now.
So we already know the prices that are going to be the starting prices for Rivergreen, and we also know what the indicative starting prices are for Promenade Peak. So what we have done is that we have come up with a price matrix mapping strategy to help us to understand better. So if you're considering, say, maybe a 2+ study in Promenade Peak, there may come a point where in Rivergreen itself, there may be a 3-bed, 2-bath that's available to you at a very small upsize in price. So we will have already done all this analysis for all of our buyers so that they are well prepared and they know and they go in with their eyes wide open on launch day to make a very informed decision and not to be caught off guard. So we've classified all the unit types into the different price zones as well as PSF banding. So it's very important because we already know that for Rivergreen, the sizes of the units are very small. This would mean that it is possible that because of the size of the units, the PSF will be very high. And for Promenade Peak, because the unit size are generally larger and one of the larger new launches that we've seen in the market, because of the sheer size itself, even if there is a low PSF, the overall quantum will become higher. So when you're deciding between one unit type in Rivergreen, you might need to shift over to Promenade Peak because of the difference in the price zone or because of the difference in the PSF banding. I know it sounds very, very confusing, but once you hop on a call with us, we'll be able to explain to you so that you can make a very, very informed purchase when you're deciding between Rivergreen or Promenade.
If you're looking for a 1-bedroom, let me show you the differences between Promenade Peak as well as Rivergreen. So the first part where you can see very obviously is that the study is actually part of the master in the master bedroom itself. Sizing wise, 2.7 times 3.4 in terms of dimensions. And for Rivergreen itself, once you enter, the bedroom size also quite similar, basically 3.3 times 2.6, and you have a slightly tucked-in kitchen. Next, if you're comparing within Rivergreen itself, you have a 1-bedder and 1+ study for comparison. And the difference is that when when you enter, the study is actually opposite of the kitchen, next to the master bedroom and the toilet itself. So it's apart from the master bedroom. I think in terms of investment, most people will aim for the slightly smaller in terms of quantum, because you want to enter in low so that you can also have a higher rental yield. And for the 1+ study between PP as well as Rivergreen, the difference is where the study is being laid out at. For Promenade Peak, it's actually over here. You can actually build a door and then it's part of the master bedroom. Otherwise, it's actually outside of the master bedroom next to the toilet. And next in Rivergreen, the toilet is in between the study as well as the master. So slightly different configuration. Now let's take a look at the price mapping strategy for all the 1-bedroom units.
So what we have done here is that we have done a projection and a mapping of the different prices that the developer is likely going to launch at when they put the units up for sale on launch day. These prices here are by no means the real prices that are going to be launched on launch day itself, and it's just based on our guesstimates. If you're watching this post-launch and you want to find out what are the actual prices in today's market, please scan the QR code to find out from us, and we'll be very happy to share with you our price mapping strategy based on what the balanced units are in the market. So if you're buying something for investment and you have a budget of around 1.2 something million and you're queuing up on launch day and you're trying to decide which site should I go for, currently right now, based on what we project, is that for $1.2 million budget, you will be able to potentially get a 1-bedroom at level 11 or a 1+ study at level 5. If you're looking for something for investment and even for own stay, it might be more preferable to focus on the 1+ study layout type, because for roughly the same price, you'll be able to get an additional study. However, if you're in queue on booking day and queuing up and suddenly the $1.2 million is sold out in the market, this is what it will open up to you next.
So next what we can see is that if you were to be at Rivergreen, you can get something on the 14th floor, but that's going to work out to be about 3,001 PSF.
So based on the price banding, it will all be in about the $1.3 million range. However, in the PSF banding, you can see that for PP, they still fall into band 2 and 3. However, for RG, it will already fall into band 15, where the PSF is already gone past the $3,000 mark.
So what happens is that I would actually propose for my clients to then consider the PP's 1+ study, where you can probably get in about 2.4 or 2.5 at the 3rd or 4th floor. But even then, if it's 3rd or 4th floor, it isn't too bad itself, because I mean overall the entire building is 60-something floors. So if you're getting in for investment, I think it's still very attractive to go in at a lower floor for the 1+ study. It's also pretty good for own stay. So this is going to be a very exciting layout because both are the same size, just in a very different layout. So for Promenade Peak, the 1+ study, when you enter kitchen as well as dining space, you have a study over here but doesn't have any windows. So for Rivergreen, for the same size, 527 square feet, when you enter, you have a tucked-in kitchen. You get 2 very good sized bedrooms that both have windows, and both are about same size. One is 10 square meters, another is 9 square meters.
So the price mapping strategy that we have for buyers that are in Zone 1, Zone 1, it means that you have a budget of around 1.4 to around 1.6 million. So for PP, you could likely get a 1+ study at level 30 for 1.5 million. However, at Rivergreen, you'll be able to get a 2-bed, 1-bath at around 1.5 million, which is at level 2. This is in a very sweet spot for those with a $1.5 million budget.
So between a 2-bed, 1-bath as well as a 1+ study, which one will actually have higher profits? Which ones should our buyers actually go into based on this price mapping strategy?
Let's take a look at how Irwell Hill has performed.
So for these 2 units, as you can see, the 495 is actually a 1-bedroom plus study. The other one is actually a 2-bed, 1-bath. They're about the same floor, 19 and 20 floor. And as you can see, in terms of profit, right, the 2-bed, 1-bath still makes slightly more. So in terms of profit-wise, the delta isn't very huge, maybe about 30K. So honestly, I would still pick the 2-bed, 1-bath if I could, but I'll contend with something on a slightly lower floor. And I think, honestly, for a layout where you have a 2nd bedroom that has windows, is really actually quite attractive.
And as you know, obviously for a 2-bed, 1-bath, definitely the rental that you will be able to command will definitely be higher than a 1+ study because of how efficient and usable the layout is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2nd bedroom basically. From what I see for 1+ study, at certain point it may be better to get the 2-bed, 1-bath over at Rivergreen side. What about a 2-bed, 2-bath at Rivergreen? When should we make that top-up play for the 1+ study from Promenade Peak to Rivergreen?
Let's take a look at how much is the additional top-up that you could likely be expected to pay if you were to top up. So we started out, for the highest floor for Promenade Peak's 1+ study, which will be located on level 42, it may be priced around 1.595 million. That still puts you in zone 1, which is for buyers of a budget between 1.4 to 1.6 million. And your next possible upgrade could likely be a 2-bed, 2-bath at an additional maybe $120,000 more. Is it worth it to upsize for an additional bedroom as well as an additional bathroom?
Let's take a look at the layouts. Just now we have already gone through the 1+ study. Now let's look at Rivergreen's 2-bed plus 2-bath. When you enter, your kitchen is fully tucked in at the side, so you have a very wide walkway, and then you have a dining space, good sized living, and really good sized bedrooms of 10 square meters and 9 square meters. So honestly, right, your 100+ K actually buys you a layout that's a lot more sellable and rentable in the market because you have 2 very good sized bedrooms and bathrooms as well.
But one is a super high floor 1+ study, and another is a very low floor 2+2.
So basically on the balloting day itself, it's going to be really hectic, but we've crunched all the numbers for all our clients, so we are very clear on what strategy to take based on our Q numbers. And basically, you want an advisor who's like us, who's able to guide you through on the day itself when it's so hectic and crazy.
So we've done the guesstimations. For a 1+ study at Promenade Peak, you could likely be paying 1.595 million for the top floor of the 1+ study stacks. And if you were to top up around 120,000, thereabout to 130,000, you could possibly get an additional bedroom and an additional bathroom. However, this will be a level 2 unit. And if you're not too keen on a level 2 unit, because it has already gone past the $1.6 million mark, that puts you in the zone 2. Zone 2 pricing is what we call as buyers who have a $1.6 million to a $1.8 million budget. And you want to stick to your zone 2 budgeting, you could potentially get a level 7 unit that is less than $1.8 million at 1.789 thereabouts. Of course, all these prices will change. So if you want to find out, and if you do have a certain price zone that you're in and you're aiming for a certain unit type, please scan the QR code to start a conversation with us, because it's very, very important to have an agent that will be able to guide you to make an informed decision when you're booking a unit on launch day or even if it's post-launch.
Now, for buyers who are looking at 2 bedrooms in this area itself, essentially these are a few of your options. Now, let's take a look at Promenade Peak's 2-bedroom. So this 2-bedroom, essentially once you enter, it's an open concept kitchen on both sides. You have your living and dining space and then 2 very good sized bedrooms itself. Next, let's take a look at what you can get at Rivergreen. At around the same price point that we have mapped out, you can potentially get one that's a 2-bedroom and also a study. So as you enter, kitchen on one side, the study with the enclosable wall and all that on the other side. And as you enter, because it doesn't have that walkway space, it's a dumbbell layout, you get very efficient room sizes of 10 square meters and 9 square meters with windows.
So for those who are looking for a 2-bed, 2-bath and a 2+ study, you will likely fall into the zone 3 category of buyers with a budget of around $1.8 to $2.1 million. At this price point, at the lower end of 1.8, it is possible and likely that you may be able to get a mid-floor unit at Promenade Peak, 2-bed, 2-bath at level 16, and a low-floor unit for 2+ study. So you may consider to switch over to Rivergreen to get an additional study room and a tucked-in kitchen at this price point here.
And of course, let's say if you are deciding between these 2 layouts, even if you wanted something higher floor, you can potentially swap from the 22nd floor of Promenade Peak to a 6th floor 2-bed plus study over at Rivergreen. Even then, your PSF is still well within and below 3,000 PSF. In fact, it's about 2.7 to 2.8. So I think you're still within the band 7 and band 9, so it's still very, very safe. But Jubes, looking at this price point, it's already very close to the 3-bedroom price point at Rivergreen. So is there a chance that I might be able to swap the 2-bedder into a 3-bedder instead?
Let's take a look at the key differences between the 2 layouts first. For the 2+ study in Promenade Peak, it stands at 797 square feet, and in Rivergreen, it's at about 786 square feet. When you come in, it's your study first, which is not enclosable. Then you have an open kitchen that doesn't come with any windows, and then you have your bedrooms, which are all tucked on one side. However, in Rivergreen, you have a 3-bedroom unit that comes with a household shelter, and that's the key difference, because yes, you may be able to potentially convert this study into a household shelter, but this definitely is a lot more efficient. And of course, you get 3 proper bedrooms.
And I think this layout is really efficient basically. For most buyers, they'll find this really, really attractive.
On launch day or on booking day, it may come to a point where the 2+ study's price point is very close to Rivergreen's 3-bedroom. So we've already plotted out to let you see what is a potential situation that might happen, and you may be able to switch over and upsize to Rivergreen to be able to get 3 proper bedrooms and a household shelter for the same price.
So basically on balloting, let's say if you are only left with something that's 28 floors and above, the PSF is somewhat about 2.8 and you are basically in zone 4, which is basically 2.2 mil and upwards. You notice that you can actually upsize within the same price point to Rivergreen's 3-bedroom. So at a certain price point, right, in Promenade Peak, based on your queue, you'll be facing somewhat like 28 floors and above. If you're in this situation, I believe you can actually swap out potentially to a 2nd floor at Rivergreen.
So if you're not so keen on a level 2 unit in Rivergreen, some people just really don't like low floor units, and especially if you're buying for own stay and you do want to be a little bit higher away from all the hustle and bustle, we've done a full price mapping strategy to let you know at which point it may be more worthwhile to upsize to Rivergreen so that you'll be able to get 3 proper bedrooms and a household shelter. So do scan the QR code to contact us to find out more.
So for the 3 bedrooms, this is actually what we've analysed. From what we see essentially at Promenade Peak, this is a good size 1033 square feet layout. As you enter, you actually have your living over here, dining this side, and a U-shaped kitchen as well as a bomb shelter. Now let's look at the 3-bedroom layout over at Rivergreen. Once you enter, basically an enclosed kitchen and as well as a bomb shelter, and then you have 3 good sized bedrooms over here. So the difference really between these two is the sizing. They are roughly about 100 plus square feet in difference.
So we've seen the layout for Rivergreen's 3-bedroom unit. It's a very good layout, very, very efficient. But it may come a point that if you're queuing up for a unit in Rivergreen, there may be better options available for you. A bigger sized unit, but lower PSF.
So as you can see, if your queue comes to about maybe level 17 and onwards for Rivergreen 3-bedroom, you notice, right, the quantum is attractive, 2.8, but the PSF is somewhat around 3,001. So did you know you can actually swap out potentially to a Promenade Peak 3-bedroom 1033 square feet, or the other one that's actually facing north, the 1076 square feet. So potentially you can be entering somewhat in 26 to 27 instead of 3001. So essentially, right, when balloting, it's also very important to balance the PSF that you're entering in, because like what Jup said just now, essentially your profits also is determined by your PSF that you enter into.
Yes. While price is very important, the PSF is always an important multiplier in determining the quantum that you exit at.
As we can see, basically at certain price point in Rivergreen, it might be better to swap out to Promenade Peak because of the slightly lower PSF. But what if I need a 4th bedroom? Then how do I have any other options?
You may consider to swap out to the 4-bedroom in Rivergreen. Let's take a look at the key layout differences. So you already know that for the 1033 square feet, it's a very good layout. It comes with a household shelter. Likewise, for the 4-bedroom unit in Rivergreen, it also comes with a household shelter. And in this case, it has 1 additional bedroom. Let's take a look at what's the potential price that you'll be able to enter if both of these units were available. So we just analysed that with a $2.8 million budget, your different options between the 3-bedroom units in Promenade Peak and Rivergreen. However, if you still have a $2.8 million budget and you want another additional room, it may be possible to go from a level 20 at Promenade Peak, which is a 3-bedroom unit, to a level 2 unit, which is at Rivergreen, but 4 bedrooms.
But what if I don't want such a low floor then? What about buyers who want something on a higher floor?
Not everyone likes level 2, so let's take a look at what your other options are if you go for a slightly higher floor unit in Rivergreen.
So for those who don't want a lower floor, actually I have another option for you. At a certain price point, let's say at level 20 in Promenade Peak, your PSF will come up to about 2.8, and then the price point will be somewhat around almost about 3 million for a 1033 square feet. Potentially, you might be able to get a 10-floor, 4-bedroom at Rivergreen itself. So it's also important to strategize based on your family's needs. And essentially, both are still below 3,000 PSF. So we have spotted a lot of these sweet spots through our price mapping strategy.
So that you can prepare yourself for booking day, please scan the QR code to WhatsApp to start a conversation with Denise or myself, and we'll hop on a Zoom call and we'll share all of these crucial information and homework that we've done exclusively for our buyers. So if you have a $3 million budget, we'll classify you as a Zone 5 type of buyer with a budget of around $3 to $3.5 million. And if you're in this price range and you are in the lower end of the $3-point-something million budget, these are the options and the various units that we have spotted that you could potentially enter into between Rivergreen and Promenade Peak.
So at a certain price point at Promenade Peak at the 27th floor, you can get something that's a 1076 square feet, or you can opt for a high floor 26th floor 883 square feet. Or you can actually have the sweet spot of getting a 4-bedroom at Rivergreen on 18th floor itself.
So like I said, I know that this sounds a little bit confusing, but if you want to find out more based on the different budget that you have and the different price zones that you are in, please scan the QR code, start a conversation with us, and we'll be very happy to share more with you. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching our analysis on our price mapping strategy for Rivergreen and Promenade Peak.
Just to recap, this is what we have done for you. We have crunched out all the numbers to ensure that you're safe on the balloting day and whatever you're entering into, you're entering to safe entry price, and we do that for every other project. If you like our content, do like and subscribe. If you want to have a chat with us, just scan the QR code and let's hop on a call.
Optimize your strategy with us and reach out, and we'll look forward to hearing from you.
See you soon. Bye.